Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaylina and I am the Hex Witch, and today we are just doing a bit of a book haul today because it's been a week and I've been getting tons of books, so we are just going to share those. That way you have an idea of what I will be reading in the near future. Sunday, go Chiefs, by the way. Thank goodness we pulled that one out. My tarot cards actually told me we were going to win that game, so I was not worried about it. But literally, like 15 minutes before the game, I had one of my really, really bad stroke like migraines and was out for all Sunday night and all of Monday. So, we started the week off a little bit rough, and I still feel like I'm playing catch up and trying to recover from that because it does take a little bit for my brain to heal itself, as well as my vision sometimes is also a little bit off from those as well. So it's just been a bit of a week, and this is the second week of my super strict diet, eliminating foods, trying to get back to being healthy again. And so my body is going through major detoxing right now, which can just make you feel like crap, to be honest. So I've definitely been just feeling off lately, just very up and down with my emotions. It's kind of just been one giant bad roller coaster ride over here. And so I go from having a pity party, being sad I can't eat certain foods, or just being grumpy because I don't feel good because of all the toxins that are releasing and hopefully getting out of my body, which is a good thing. But it's hard to stick with when you're feeling like crap and you feel like you're doing everything right. So, trying to have patience with myself and trying to encourage myself and tell myself I'm doing good and that all of this is going to pay off in the end and that I'm going to be looking good and feeling good. And so we just are going to keep going. But yeah, it's been a bit of a week. So if you are doing exercising and detoxing right now, I understand how you feel, but we can do this. We can keep going. We can keep pushing through. It's going to be worth it. So, today we are just doing a low-key book haul and probably throw some more beautiful scenic pictures to get you relaxed. So grab a cup of tea, grab coffee, whatever your go-to drink is, and let's settle in. The next one up is by Scarlett St. Clair, another Claire. There must be something about Claire's. We're all writers, apparently. King of Battle and Blood. So that's this one. I know this one has also been on a few different booktube channels, but it definitely did sound very intriguing, very interesting. The only thing I hope about this book is that I think it's kind of about vampire. Oh, no, it is. Yeah, a vampire book, and me and vampire books just have complicated relationship just because a lot of times I don't overly love how they're written. It's very, I don't know, non-realistic, let's just say, and the love aspect of it is just very over the top. And so I don't know. But the back of this book says uh, another name that I can't pronounce. Isola de Lara considers her wedding day to be her death day. To end a years-long war and protect the people of her kingdom, she is to marry the vampire king Adrian. Another Alexander Vasiliev and kill him. But her assassination attempt is thwarted, and Adrian warns that if Isolde tries to kill him again, he will raise her as the undead. Faced with the possibility of becoming the thing she hates most, she seeks other ways to defy him and survive the violence and political machinations of Adrian's brutal vampire court. Except it isn't the court she ends up fearing the most, it's Adrian, and her intense attraction to him, wrapped in mystery and in past he refuses to discuss. Adrian nevertheless starts to become less of a monster. Despite their undeniable chemistry, Isolde can't help but wonder why the king, fierce, complicated, and ambitious, and at times inexplicably tender, chooses her as consort. The answer will shatter her world. So this is obviously another enemies to lovers kind of story, which, don't get me wrong, I love a good tale of, a guy and girl not totally getting along at the beginning, and then throughout it they, become friends, lovers, whatever you want. But it has to be done in like a certain way, and I'm hoping this is not like the book Crave that I started reading, where it was just so over the top right off the bat and just so unrealistic of how a relationship would go, that I don't end up liking it. But we're keeping an open mind because I do love that kind of rivalry type story. So we'll see. If you've read this book and it's not cringeworthy, leave a comment below because I'll be interested to know. The next one I picked up is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. That's what this one is. And I've heard very little about this one, but I don't know. It just sounds intriguing. And so the circus arrives without warning. No announcements precedes it. It is simply there, when yesterday it was not. Within the black and white striped canvas tents is an utterly unique experience full of breathtaking amazements. It is called La Cirque des Rêves, and it is only open at night. But behind the scenes, a fierce competition is underway, a duel between two young magicians, Celia and Marco, who have been trained since childhood expressly for this purpose by their mercurial instructors. Unbeknownst to them both, this is a game in which only one can be left standing. Amidst the high stakes, Celia and Marco soon tumble headfirst into love, setting off a domino effect of dangerous consequences, and leaving the lives of everyone from performers to the patrons hanging in the balance. So, potentially another love story with magicians, so why not? I mean, it sounds interesting, it sounds good, so we're gonna give it a go. Next one I found, which just, I don't know, looked interesting, is The Nightmare Man by J.H. Markert. And that's what this cover looks like. And I know seriously like absolutely nothing about this book, but I just liked the cover and it looks creepy. So I was like, okay, we're going to pick it up and maybe give it a go. But the inside cover says, Blackwood Mansion looms surrounded by nightmare pines, atop the hill over the small town of New Haven. Ben Bookman, best-selling novelist and heir to the Blackwood estate, spent a weekend at the ancestral home to finish writing his latest horror novel, The Scarecrow. Now, on the eve of the book's release, the terrible story within begins to unfold in real life. Detective Mills arrives at the scene of a gruesome murder, a family butchered and bottled inside cocoons stitched from corn husks and hung from the rafters of a barn, eerily mirroring the opening of Bookman's latest novel. When another family is killed in a similar manner, Mills, along with his daughter, rookie detective Samantha Blue, is determined to find the link to the book and the killer before the story reaches its chilling climax. As the series of the Scarecrow crimes continues to mirror the book, Ben quickly becomes prime suspect. He can't remember much from the night he finished writing the novel, but he knows he wrote it in the atrium, his grandfather's forbidden room full of numbered books. Thousands of books, books without words. As Ben digs deep into Blackwood's history, he learns he may have triggered a release of something trapped long ago, and it won't stop with the horrors buried within the pages of his book. So this sounds interesting, and this also kind of sounds like the movie, what is it, Stories We Tell in the Dark or something like that. So I'm wondering if that kind of has the same similar theme to it, but it sounds interesting. Another one that I got at Barnes & Noble that is The Daughters of Istenhar, and I just like the cover of this one alone because it almost kind of looks like Elsa down there with her magical powers, only is this in India, I think? But anyway, it follows, I believe, two sisters. I'm just going to read the cover because I don't remember exactly, but I picked it up. I love the art of the cover. It's beautiful. It's by Hedier El-Sabai. Sorry, I'm mispronouncing that, I'm sure. I'm probably mispronouncing all of these names, so I'm sorry about that. It says, as a water weaver, Nahal can move and shape any water to her will, but she's limited by her lack of formal education. She desires nothing more than to attend the newly opened Weaving Academy, take control of her powers, and pursue a glorious future on the battlefield with the first all-female military regiment. Her family cannot afford to let her go. Crushed under her father's gambling debt, Nahal is forcibly married into a wealthy merchant family. Her new spouse, Nico, is indifferent and distant and in love with another woman, a bookseller named Georgina. Georgina has her own secret, however. She is an earth weaver with dangerously uncontrollable powers. She has no money and no prospects. Her only solace comes from her activities with the Daughters of Isenvar, a radical women's rights group at the forefront of a movement with a simple goal: for women to have a say in their own lives. They live very different lives and come from very different needs, yet Nahal and Georgina have more in common than they think. The cause in Nico brings them into each other's orbit, drawn in by the group's enigmatic leader, Malik Mando, and the urge to do what is right. But the problems may seem small in the broader context of the world, as tensions are rising from a neighboring nation that desires an end to weaving and weavers. As Nahal and Georgina fight for their rights, the threat of war looms in the background, and the two women find themselves struggling to earn and keep a lasting freedom. So I'm all about, the women's rights, women fighting for equality. That's that's the feminist in me. I enjoy that kind of thing. So I plus add magic in it. So it sounds like it's going to be a good book. And so I'm looking forward to reading that. The next monstrosity of a book that I recently just heard of, I have no idea how long it's been out, but it's Anastasia by Sophie Lark. And so Anastasia is the princess no one needs, the fourth daughter born to an emperor without a son and the only royal lacking a magical gift, until she collides with young Kozak rebel, changing both their lives forever. Damien is taken from everything he knows and raised as a ward of the Romanovs. Anastasia develops a strange kind of magic shared only by the black monk Rasputin. While her powers grow in secret, boosted by forbidding contact with Damien, Anastasia makes a mistake with terrible consequences. Fate grants her a single chance to set it right, but saving what she lost may cost everything she loves. So I was adopted from Russia when I was like 12 months old. So I love anything Anastasia, and this, from the sounds of it, is one of the best retellings of Anastasia out there. So I cannot wait to read this, even though it's quite hefty. And it does look like there's some very pretty artwork in here as well. So yeah, I'm I'm about it. I'm excited to read it, and sounds like Anastasia has some magic. So the next one I got, which for some reason I feel like in the upcoming months I'm going to be on a kick of kind of older stories, like this one, Pride and Prejudice, which this is a beautiful copy of Pride and Prejudice. Like it's got almost like a watercolor kind of feel, and obviously, without saying, it's by Miss Jane Austen, which I love. Pride and Prejudice. It's probably my favorite like story of hers. Believe it or not, I have not actually read Pride and Prejudice. Pride and Prejudice. I've just seen the movies, and of course, I love the movies, especially the fairly newest one with Keira Knightley, and it's so beautifully romantic. And I feel like as a whole, I'm usually more of a action thriller, scary, but there are times when I fall into just wanting to read that romance, just that kind of romance story that you have a hard time finding. And I don't know, it's such a beautiful story, like Pride and Prejudice, and two people coming from kind of different worlds and being so very different and not being friends at all in the beginning, and then through an appropriate amount of time they learn to accept and embrace and love each other. And that's just, I mean, that's what a true relationship is, like even through your differences you learn to love one another. And so I'm really looking forward to reading this book finally, and actually like reading it, because I love the movie, but I'm excited to actually read her story and her version of it. I also got Little Women recently too, a really pretty copy of that one, because I love that story too, about sisters coming together and just figuring out life. So I will probably read both of those in the same month and just have like an older timey book read session. So the next one that I got is The Curse of the Night Witch by Alex Astor. And if you've been listening at all to my channel a little bit earlier, I already read Lightlark by her and absolutely loved that book. Loved it. Do not have enough good things to say about that book. So this is a little bit of a younger adult novel from her, which I'm like, if I liked Lightlark that much, I'm probably going to like this book. So it goes as follows. 12-year-old Tor Luna was born to be the future leader of his village, but he hates his leadership emblem and is determined to choose a new path for himself. On the annual New Year's Eve celebration, Tor wishes for a different emblem and future. The next morning, Tor wakes up to discover a new marking on his skin, the symbol of a curse that has shortened his lifeline, giving him 1 week before an untimely death. The only way to break the curse is to find the notorious Night Witch, who most believe is a legend. With just his village terrifying ancient stories as a guide and his two friends, Engel and Melda, by his side, Tor must travel across the unpredictable Emblem Island, filled with wicked creatures he only knows through myths, in a race against his dwindling lifeline. So, I mean, this just sounds really interesting and exciting. And there's also book 2, Curse of the Forgotten City. So if I like this one, then I have another one to look forward to. So I'm looking forward to. I feel like this is going to have, I don't know, maybe a Percy Jackson sort of flair to it. I don't want to compare her to any other authors because she is a standalone by far, but it kind of it gives me kind of Percy Jackson vibes. So we'll see, but I'm sure I'm gonna love it because like I said, I loved Lightlark. The next one I also got from Frolic Through Friction. Why do I keep wanting to say friction? Fiction. Sorry, Ashley. Jeez. Frolic Through Fiction, and this is Fortuna Sworn. She read this book. First of all, this cover is really cool. I really like it. Um, I don't even remember what it was about, but when she was describing it, it sounded really good. So I was like, okay, that's probably going to be a book that I would like as well. I tend to like a lot of the books that she recommends. So this says we were meant to be seductive. We were designed to lure humans in. Fortuna Sworn is the last of her kind. Her brother disappeared 2 years ago, leaving her with no family or species to speak of. She hides among humans, spending her days working at a bar and her nights searching for him. The bleak pattern goes on until she catches the eye of a powerful fairy. He makes no attempt to hide that he desires Fortuna, and in exchange for her he offers something irresistible. So Fortuna reluctantly leaves her safe existence behind to step back into a world of creatures and power. It soon becomes clear that she may not have bargained with her heart, but her very life. So it has to do with fairies. And so I haven't read a ton of books regarding kind of fairies. So I think this one will be interesting. And from the sounds of it, Ashley enjoyed it. So I probably most likely will as well. Last one she also had on her channel. I just feel like I'm taking all the same books that she read, but I do listen to her all the time, and so some of these books are just gonna be some of the ones that she's mentioned. Is Krampus, the Yule Lord by Bram. I don't know if I'm going to read that this year, or if I'm gonna save this towards the end of this year into like November, December. Since obviously we're getting into springtime now and I'm wanting to get kind of away from the wintry feel. But I liked the movie Krampus. I feel like they could have done even more with the movie Krampus to make it even just better. But I do kind of like the story behind Krampus. This very just dark Santa Claus in a way, and taking everything that most people love about Christmas and completely turning it upside down and having a very creepy kind of side to it. I also heard that this book has a lot of the kind of mythology behind Santa Claus and Krampus and kind of their dual relationship, and as well as I hear that this is a pretty dark book, so sure, I'm kind of sick and twisted in a way, so this sounds very interesting. But this goes as follows. One Christmas Eve in a small hollow in Boone Country, West Virginia, struggling songwriter Jesse Walker witnesses a strange spectacle. 7 devilish figures chasing a man in a red suit for a sleigh and 8 reindeer. When the reindeer leap skyward, taking the sleigh, devil men, and Santa into the clouds, screams follow. A moment later, a large sack plummets back to earth, a magical sack that thrusts down on his luck singer into the clutches of the terrifying Yule Lord Krampus. But the lines between good and evil become blurred as Jesse's new master reveals many dark secrets about the cherry-cheeked Santa Claus, including how half a millennium ago the jolly old saint imprisoned Krampus and usurped his magic. Now Santa's time is running short, for the Yule Lord is determined to have his retribution and reclaim Yuletide. If Jesse can survive this ancient feud, he might have the chance to redeem himself in his family's eyes, to save his own broken dreams, and to bring the magic of Yule to the impoverished folk of Boone Country. So it's taking, the Christian Christmas with Yuletide paganism and kind of having the epic battle. So, which will be interesting because obviously Christians very much took Yule and turned it into Christmas. So really, is Krampus so wrong in wanting to take his holiday back? I don't know. But obviously it definitely sounds different than the actual Krampus movie, because that was meant more for a horror or just entertainment factor. This has much more of the mythology behind it. So I may read that. Who knows? Maybe I'll do Christmas in July and I will read that in July. I don't know. don't know what I'm going to do yet. But anyway, those are all the fiction books that I've gotten as of fairly late. I have other ones too, but honestly, we're not going to make this video too long because I'm pretty sure I've already been talking for like 45 minutes. So, if you like the content, if you see any books that you like, comment down below. As always, stay happy, stay healthy, stay inspired and creative, and very springy. And I will see you next time for another video. If you do like my videos, please consider leaving a like or subscribing. That helps me out a ton. And I will see you next time for the next video. Bye!